Weird science
is the revolution.
Batman Superman World's Finest number 24. It doesn't seem like there were that many issues. Mark Waid writing, Dan Mora, Tamara Baum-Vallone, Steve Wands, and that's it. Those are the people here. Yeah. And so here we go. And Kingdom Come story coming to a conclusion. When this week was coming up, I'm like, oh shit, this is a big week. We get the end of the Joker Year One. We're at the end of this Kingdom Come deal. I kept saying, you even said there's no way that Mark Waid's going to do anything that's going to ruin his Kingdom Come deal. That's the moneymaker. I don't think it would anyway. I have a feeling that, most people are going to get Kingdom Come. They don't really care what's happening in World's Finest at this point. That would ruin it, but it's still kind of a weird play. But when you go into it, it does feel a little weird. Looks great. And I do like, a lot of people pointed out, like, Darkseid has become a little bitch. Like, he's not very imposing anymore. When he shows up, maybe it's oversaturation. He is fucking evil.
Who is being the Darkseid with his hands behind his back, walking, doesn't give a shit about anybody because he's the motherfucking Darkseid. Like, yes, this is the Darkseid that you want to see. And maybe it is. He will become a little bitch in the future because this takes place in the past.
I actually thought of that. I'm like, what happened there? Who broke your heart?
You need your groove back.
When he's doing it, too, that's the best. Like, maybe some people would, almost want to have him talking a lot of shit. Hey, I'm going to beat the shit out of you guys. I'm Darkseid. And also, like, hey, Darkseid is, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, Darkseid in this is like, he shows up. This is doing the events podcast with Dr. Matt. We've had a couple of the events with Darkseid, and this is Darkseid, where he just walks around. And even when he joins up with the heroes, like, that he's going to go bad, and he doesn't even pretend that he's not, and he just walks around like a badass and he doesn't have to say anything, and that's how this is, and it works out. I love this Darkseid. The story, I just thought you were going to get more of a spelled out conclusion.
You have Darkseid show up at the end of the last issue. I'm like, oh my god, shit is about to get real, and Darkseid does show up, and we spend the majority of the issue, I feel, well, that's it. There's two majorities in my mind. Either we're just saying Darkseid just take everybody's punches and just throw them aside like they're nothing. And then at the end, where Spectre tells us what Kingdom Come was. Those are the two majorities of what it feels like. Hey, you want to have a quick recap of Kingdom Come? Well, that'll be the end. The beginning will be Darkseid looking all badass, which he is badass. But the whole big catalyst of like pretty much everybody giving up on David, who has become Magog, is because Darkseid, he wants the anti-life equation piece that's inside Gog's mind, and we got to make sure that he can't get to that. And everybody is failing. Everybody is getting thrown left and right, can't do shit against Darkseid. Two Supermen can't do shit against Darkseid. So David Magog does the only thing he could think to do at that point in time. He uses the power that God gave him to kill Gog. And then, oh my God, what have you done, David? There's always another way. And everybody just looks at David like he just shit the bed. And Darkseid's like, look, I don't even give a shit about you. I'm going back to my planet. Fuck this place. And I'm like, the resolution to it is so weird because we have to get David on the path that he will become the Magog we know in Kingdom Come. And it's just like, even the way that everybody treats him like shit at the end, it's just such a weird way for him to go up and say, look, my ends justify the means, and we're going to continue to do this. Like, by the end, do you think that David remembers any of this? That transpired?
I guess.
Because it's such a weird idea.
If you were going to have something with the Spectre, you would think that Batman would say, well, because they even go, like you said, once they have It's a Wonderful Kingdom Come and start going around and looking, hey, what's going to happen here? Well, let me show you. And I just kind of rolled my eyes. But in the deal, I think he would know, but it's just, it's weird. By the end, I think it looks great. And I'm telling the one panel where Darkseid just like is backhanding people as he's walking around. He's barely even looking at them, like boom. And then he's talking a little shit, and then he goes. But the idea after I thought was forced, where there's David, and he ends up realizing, okay, I got to kill Gog. Now he is hiding at one point, which Batman, I don't know why he has to throw that much shit out later. But when he does this, and then Darkseid says, well, I'm not here to fight anybody. Like, this is bullshit. I came for one specific thing. It's not here now. I'm going to go home. David starts like, oh, really? Yeah, that's so big there. And he's like, listen, don't start talking shit because, I might change my mind.
Underneath my shoe.
Yeah,
Get
he's
the
like,
hell out of
basically,
here.
like, don't look at me as, and he says, don't take anger as, respect or thing. I'm mad that this, but why the fuck am I going to waste any energies? These Omega beams, they don't come cheap. I'm going to get out of here. And later on, watch yourself because I might come and get you. And then he leaves. And then David's like, whoa, suck it, bitches. I thought he was going to do the DX, like, hey, look at me. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's like so of like to get him to be like what he'll end up, it just felt forced. It felt weird. At that point, I thought that maybe you just play the, oh man, he wanted praise. He thought they were going to come and say, and they're going to talk shit. Of course, it's Batman screaming and yelling at him. But in the meantime, it just felt forced because we're almost at the end there. I'm like, okay. And then Superman with the Spectre and things just pop because...
Yeah, the Spectre shows up and it's like, all right, time for you guys to go home. Didn't need to intervene because everything did exactly what it needed to do. But what about David? Well, let me show you the Kingdom Come timeline right now, boys. Let's go to the future so I can show you the images of the future. And then even by the end, like, I will take you to the furthest bit of the future where David is mourning his decisions at the big old cemetery for where everybody died in the Kansas explosion. He's like, they just made me a weapon, just like the Superman said all them 50 years ago. And then, Superman? You're my Superman. You don't gotta be a weapon no more, David. You can be a better you. Yes, I can, Superman. I'm gonna lead the next generation and not be the Magog that I was.
But he already was. Yep. So weird.
But it's never too late to change, even if you kill thousands of people.
He's like, really? Really? Yep, that's what I said to Lex, but he's a villain again later. When they're doing, I do like when the Spectre shows up because I swear to God, the only reason it was is it's like Mark Waid says, okay, what you have to do is make him look like Alex Ross when he shows it. Make him look like From the Kingdom Come, and he does. It looks great. And I'm like, holy shit. But me and you were talking, and it was weird because you weren't really you were mentioning it, but there was never a real push of, how the fuck are we going to get back to our, like, they seemed to just like, things will work out. We'll figure it out by the end. And so when the Spectre shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I can appreciate that Mark Waid knew this was going to happen, so you're not going to waste too much time doing other bullshit, but still, it felt weird. Like the idea of like, oh shit, hey Spectre, can you take us over? Spectre to me isn't a guy who's going to give you like they sit down and he's doing a slideshow. And then this happens to the old Superman goes over to the farm. It just felt weird.
It's such a weird thing because I'm actually paging through right now because I think I still have it in my mind that Spectre made everybody forget because that's the only way the story worked in my mind. And I'm like, no, I don't think Spectre actually did that this issue. I think everybody remembers everything that happened right here. And that being the case when, Magog goes and kills somebody, even the idea that they let Magog still be Magog after all the outrage, they killed this god, this first world god, that was taking over everybody on this world. Like, why would anybody not keep an eye on David? Or even the idea of what they experienced with this multiversal Superman and Batman who of their world. I just don't see how we get to the Kingdom Come at this point in time for what they understand from this story alone.
And like you said, at one point, Superman is trying to tell old Superman, what's going to happen because they know that shit goes bad. They don't know. They want to see the particulars. And a little, fill in the cracks. But they know they were at a cemetery. Everybody was dead. And they know, Magog, David. And he's going to say, and then no, I actually would have liked this idea. And maybe this does make things weird. But yeah, Spectre can. Everybody's mind. It gets wiped, right? And then you have Batman wakes up in the manor. And then you see Superman's getting out of the shower, right? Sexy, right next to him. So you have that. You have the Bobby Ewing thing. But
yeah.
In this deal, I would have loved to have had the idea where Magog, David, everybody's mind. They don't remember. Somehow we find out in a way, old Superman does remember, and he still ends up going off to the farm because of him thinking that he's, not needed or wanted. And so then you still have that. I think it makes it stronger then. I think
from
it would be
all
cool.
the talk that young Superman gave him, the idea you're not doing your job, you didn't do things right, you feel like that would stay in the background of his mind going forward, knowing that this other version of him talked about some terrible future because of something he did. Then even the idea, not only just the old Superman of Kingdom Come, but our Superman, knowing that in the future of this timeline, which is so similar to ours, that the Joker will one day kill Lois, right? You think he'd want to stay on top of what the actual Joker's up to make sure that shit never happens so he never becomes this version either.
You're right. There's weird things. And like you said, it's funny because Superman wants to tell old Superman himself in that, and Batman pulls him back. But really the only thing... he doesn't know at that point, he doesn't know that much. He just knows things are going to go real bad. And I think Superman was just going to say, keep an eye on things. Make sure David is okay. He needs somebody. He is a guy, and say to him, he is a kid. He's a little needy, but we're not going to be mean here. He needs somebody there with him constantly to give him encouragement. He's one of those kids,
especially now.
If you go off for a hot weekend, he may think you abandoned him forever. Can't do this.
But that's the problem then, because if we have him do that, we'll never get Kingdom Come. So I just feel like everything is written into a corner. When Superman pulls him
back, it's weird. It
doesn't
feels
work
like the
for
corner.
me.
Yeah, and that's where it feels like that's Mark Waid. Like, whoa, guy. We have Kingdom Come still. He's be funny. You look at the art. I'm like,
and don't forget the Kingdom. We already forgot the Kingdom. Shut up about the Kingdom.
Yeah, really, nobody cares about that. That a lot of people were saying to me, well, what he's going to do is he's going to keep Kingdom Come in a way, but I'm like, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You can't get rid of the kingdom, but it's all can happen. So it's just weird. But yeah, it looks great, but it's weird.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, that's the thing is, a lot of the issue, it looks great. If you want to see something and I say that because I'm like, hey guys, it looks great. And then you get the whole recap of what happened in Kingdom Come. But I'm like, does it look as good as Kingdom Come though? What do you think about it in that regard? Because Kingdom Come had a very specific Alex Ross style, which looks amazing. It's why it's a standout series. And it's like, well, you get the recap of the story, which I hope you would understand before going into this, because what do you think you're even doing here if you don't know Kingdom Come, which is so weird. But oh, God, it's such a weird thing because the book looks great, but the majority of what you get is you can know by the end, Kingdom Come still happens, whether it works or not in your mind. Personally, it doesn't work for me very well, but you get badass Darkseid walking around, kicking the crap out of people with his hands tucked behind his back. And that is the real part of the story that is the standout in my mind. I'm like, is that enough? I don't know, because I don't want to give it a bad score because it feels cool when you have it, but the majority of the issue, it doesn't do much for me. So, oh, fuck me. 5.5 out of 10.
I'm a 7. I'm actually a little more than you. It is fun. And you say...
I didn't need David to have his, nice moment at the end to say he'll go on and do great things in the future after everything goes terrible.
Too late, dude. But
giving an origin to Magog is fine. Giving a happy ending to Magog feels weird and tacked on.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe... I don't know. You know what's weird is at the end, what I wanted... I don't know if this is going to make sense, Eric. I'm a little tired. But what I wanted at the end was to show that no matter what they did, David was still going to end up being the bad Gog and end up, Magog, all that. But instead, they pull it back to say, oh, we can't change. It's a different angle. It's not that they tried their hardest and yet they still couldn't stop him. It's that they couldn't go that far because Batman pulls back. Superman, we can't do that. He can't know this. Spectre shows up and then boom, it's just done.
And if people want to be mad at me for giving it such a low score, don't rely on the idea man, this is such a good story. You know what's a better story than the Spectre telling you about Kingdom Come? You reading Kingdom Come.
It is. And actually, most people should. If you are a DC fan, it's one of those that you should have read or should go and read now. Like I said, when the Spectre shows up, it looks like it's trying to get that because you have the shadows. And when you said it, you're not saying Dan Mora is a bad artist. You're not saying that he isn't as good as else. They have different styles. They have different styles. Dan Mora is more of a, I don't want to say cartoony, but it's more of a comic book.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, there was way back. I wish I knew what episode where I argued with you and Reggie about how I don't love Alex Ross's, panel to panel deal because you don't get a lot of but it is epic when you want to tell an epic story like him. But I've since then read a couple other. It's really good.
Really good.
You know what? He's the one guy, or not the one guy, but one of the guys who really realized, boy, I could bust my ass for 3 years on this art for one book, where I could just do 3 covers a month and rack in the dough because his covers are amazing. Yeah. They are so good, and his art really is that. He could be on the craziest Night Thrasher book he could be on, and it will look so epic because that cover. I gotta get this is an event, isn't it? It's so good, but yeah, they have different styles, so you're not throwing shade either. But people are still
badass Darkseid.
People are still going to be mad at your score, though. I think
weird science
is the revolution.